Hi guys, my name is Biora. In the last video, we worked on looking through the SoloQ ladder to find a specific player whose games we wanted to look at, and then we grabbed 20 games and we processed those matches and made this data frame here. What I want to do today is I want to take these numbers back here for perks and for styles like domination, resolve, etc. And then, the shards, and I want to take that, I want to change it into the names of those things. So to do that, what I need is a dictionary of a one-to-one conversion of ID to name, right? And if I have that, say for example, I make a dictionary that is this, we'll say temp dictionary is, and I want that number, and we'll call that perk1, and we'll say this number is perk2. Now if I made that dictionary, which is just a temporary dictionary, and I said df.replace with that temp dictionary, what it will do is it will replace all instances of this number with that name, with this number with that name, which is exactly what we want, right? So if I look now, that's all perk1, perk2, but I have to do it for all of these. So what I need is a resource that will give me all of the IDs for all the perks and all their names. For that, I use something called Community Dragon. Now there is a resource called Cdragon from Riot, but in my opinion, Community Dragon is a bit more well maintained. It's community run, and if you go to here, I'll show you. So if you go to regularcommunitydragon.org and go to their docs, you can find a link to their raw endpoint, I guess you'd call it. I don't know, extension to their site. And if you scroll down, you'll find something called latest, which is the latest patch. And from there, we want plugins, LOL game data, global, which is, for all of League of Legends, then default for all languages, and then version 1, which is their most stable version. And then we want to scroll down and we're looking for something called perks and perk styles. That's what we're going to be working on in this video. You can also do other things like items and summoner spells, but this video, I'm just going to focus on these. So I'm going to take this link here. We'll say perk equals that link. And we'll say perk styles equals that link. And then what I want to do is I want to say JSON is requests. And this is the same thing we did in other videos, .get perk.json. And we'll do the same thing for perk styles. Perfect. Now, if I look in perk JSON, we have a great JSON that has the ID and name of everything we're looking for. But how am I going to get that out of here? What I need to do is I need to make a function that will look through this list of dictionaries, and for every object in that list, in this case every dictionary, I want to look at each of these keys, and I want to say if the key that I'm looking for, so we'll start with ID. If the key is ID, then I want the value, and I want that for every dictionary in this list. So I want all the values for ID in this list, and then I'll get all the values for name in the dictionaries in this list, and then I'll just map those together, so ID and name, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a function called JSON extract, and we're going to input an object, in this case a dictionary or a list of dictionaries, and then we're going to look for a specific key. And what we're going to do is we're going to append all those values to an array. So we'll say array is empty for now, and we're going to do another function in here. And what we're going to do is we're going to say if the instance of the object is a dictionary, if is instance is a dictionary, then for every key value pair in that dictionary, in this case dictionary.items, I want to check one of two things. One, if it is the key, then I want to simply append the key or the value, right? But if it is not the key, then I want to do nothing unless the not key is a dictionary. So I'll say else if the return is an instance of another dictionary or a list of dictionaries, actually. So another dictionary or a list, which will be a list of dictionaries. Then I want to do recursion, meaning I want to run all of this again. So this will actually have to be its own function. So define extract object array key, because we're going to have to actually use that array here. And then we're going to run this again on the nested dictionary. But in this case, we're going to use the value dictionary, not the original dictionary. So if we're looking and one of the values of a key pair is a dictionary itself, then that value dictionary, we're going to actually run the same function on to grab anything out of that might be useful for us, which is a great way to find nested information. So if something is like deep in a JSON file, it's an easy way to find that. And all that is for if this is a dictionary, but if it's a list, so if the original object is a list, which in this case it is actually for perks, the original object would be a list. So if we ran this, it would do nothing, but we would have to do else if is instance of a list. Then we're going to do something similar, but instead of all the key value pair stuff, a list only has items. So we're going to say for item in list extract item. In this case, the item would be dictionaries. So we're going to do the extract function on the dictionaries in that list. So just to re-explain, extract works on dictionaries, and what extract does is it essentially looks through the dictionary and looks at each key value pair in that dictionary, and if that key is the key we're looking for, then it gives us the value. If it's not the key we're looking for, then it checks if it's another dictionary, and if it is, then it reruns the whole thing again. And it does the same thing for lists of dictionaries too. And then once we're done with all that, extract needs to return an array. And then from there, we can say values equals extract. But this time we're going to extract the original dictionary that we input, or in this case, a list of dictionaries. So object array key, and we'll return values. So that's probably the hardest part about this video. Hopefully that makes sense, but I'll show you what that means. So JSON extract, I want to extract from perk JSON all of the values that have a key of ID. And that is what that does. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. Now I'll name that Perk IDs. And we'll do another one that's Perk Names. Remember what I wanted was a dictionary that had all the IDs mapped to all the names. So to do that, I'm going to make a Perk dictionary, and that is going to be a dictionary where we're going to map Perk IDs to Perk Names. But to do that, we're going to have to use something called a lambda function. So what we're going to actually do is we're going to say lambda I and j, in this case I being the IDs and j being the names, is equal to I, j, and then Perk IDs, Perk Names. Like that. So if we look at that, this is what that lands us with. Now I just want to make sure, I'm pretty sure all these, if I check, are type int. So if I do df.info, yeah, they are type int. So I just want to make sure when I do this that I always get an integer back. So I'll do int. And now if I was to do df.replace with that perk dictionary, similar to before, I get all the perk names and the shards, which is sick. All I'd have to do now is the perk styles, which is a very similar process, very easy. I would just do perk styles. And then from there, if I do df.replace with perk dictionary, and then do another replace with perk styles dictionary, we get our intended result, which was we have all of our styles here. We have shards and runes. And if I wanted to, I wonder if I can increase the columns here. I could do pd.options.display.max columns equals 100. I can also do that for the items too if I wanted to. So item 1, item 2. So all these items could also be done the same way if I really wanted to. Although I'm not going to do that right now. But if you wanted to, you could. So that is how to use Community Dragon in order to take IDs and change them into names. In the next video, we're going to look at storing all this information once we've cleaned it all. So I'm going to make a SQL server. I'm going to show you how to get that set up. And then we'll look at taking these data frames and storing them in there. So over time, we can amass a ton of data and then we can do insights on that data. All right, I'll see you in the next video.